Well, we have a very special guest joining us here in studio, the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team, Adia Barnes. And Coach, congratulations on a tremendous win in the 2019 WNIT tournament. A great victory. You guys beat Northwestern 56-42. Were you surprised after the road it took to get there that it was a pretty easy victory?
Well, it wasn't really easy.
No.
The score wasn't
Yeah,
a good
but-
indication, but I think it was a lot easier with the sold-out McHale.
Yeah.
I think that to win 6 games in the WNIT, and those are one-and-done games,
Yeah.
I think it gave us a lot of experience. And really, I thought one of our biggest battles in that run was TCU. They were so big and strong, and then after that, we were so confident. I think that we were determined to beat Northwestern.
Yeah, and we've seen that in the past in these tournaments. Sometimes your toughest games are earlier on, and of course, the support you got here in the community. We'll get to that, but I wanted to ask you about your ride to get here. I mean, 6 wins last year. What made the difference this season, and then when did you realize that this team was special?
Well, I think 6 years last year, that was it's the evolution of taking over a program.
Right.
Because the first year we were senior heavy, the second year a lot of changes, so some of those are just kind of what happens when you take over and you bring in different people. So a couple people left, a couple people I helped leave,
Yeah.
are encouraged that this wasn't
Has
the
to
right
happen,
place.
yeah.
And then added a couple walk-ons, so it was going to be a tough year. I didn't know it was going to be that tough, but six wins, and then on the sideline every day we had 3 transfers. So I was optimistic that adding those transfers for this year we were going to be better.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how much better, but that's why it was a little bit easier this year to win some games.
Now we know it takes an entire team, but there was one very special individual, Aria McDonald. What did she bring to this team besides what we actually saw on the court?
She brings a fierce competitor. She brings, she's just so dynamic. So there aren't a lot of great players that are good on both ends of the floor. She is fierce on defense. She changes the game with her defense, and then she changes it on offense because she's so fast, and I can't teach quickness.
Yeah.
And she's
No.
just got that knack, and she gets through defenders and finds ways to finish the baskets, and I'm like, how did she do that? That's just her as a player, how good she is. One of the best guards in the country. She actually just was invited to try out for the USA team. So we're pushing for that. We have a plan together for her to try to make that team. And, she'll be one of the best guards in the country.
Yeah, an All-American, and the team feeds off of that, and we saw what she was able to do with the other players. Now let's talk about, as they call it sometimes, the 6th man. What did this community do as far as, not just the fans, but as the community came to help you guys out in this tournament?
This community was electric. It was amazing. They embraced me since I got here. Women's basketball. I think that, the first game to have 3,000 and then challenge the fans, and it was fun for me.
Yeah.
And then say, let's go 5. And then, President Robbins and Dave Heeker at like 10.
Yeah.
I was thinking like to myself, 10, that's a lot. And then I was like 10. And then I noticed before the last game, I didn't say 14,000. I said 12 because I was like, there's no way we're going to sell this place out. And then within 24 hours, we had 8,000 tickets sold. So this city was excited.
Yeah.
They felt a part of it. They made a difference. I don't know if we would have won the NIT without our fans. So that place was rocking, families, and it was a lot of new fans. It was fans that hadn't been to women's basketball and just kind of got recruited in that process. So, and it was thanks to people like you.
Yeah.
Who didn't have to do all the advertising and help and jumped on board. So this whole community just embraced us, and it was amazing.
Yeah, and you mentioned new fans. I think you guys got a lot of them this season.
We did.
How much did having that home court advantage help this team in the run in this tournament?
It helped tremendously. You need the home court advantage, and it's very hard to win. I know that earlier on, we were possibly going to have to go to Wyoming. And to play in elevation in front of 7,000 fans was going to be very difficult. So I think what helped us, this community helped us stay at home. Dave Heeke also helped, reaching in the pockets and giving a big bid to keep us in McHale. But it also, if we wouldn't have sold tickets, that still wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So the fans in this city helped do that. And I think it was a fun ride, and I think people felt a part of it. And I don't think we would have won or wouldn't have had, not an easy run, but it made it a lot easier. I would not want to go to the WNIT and play on the road in front of 8, 9, 10, 14,000.
Right.
I would be like, whoa,
Yeah.
and it's hard to win.
Yeah, and just an incredible story, but I'm not sure if people are aware of your story and how this all comes together. You're part of that 96 team that won the WNIT. Kind of going full circle, you were one of the first ever to be drafted into the WNBA. So how is this, for you to have all this happen and then win against the Northwestern again in the WNIT?
It's funny. I didn't even realize that. So it's been so many years. And so when I was in a press conference before the Northwestern game, so we didn't know, until then who we were playing because their game was going on the same time. And it was at a neutral site in Amarillo, Texas. So I remembered, I thought it was LSU. And then the reporters told me during the press conference it was Northwestern. So that was just an amazing story. It couldn't have been any better. It was special. And the way it ended, I always say there's 2 teams in the country that are happy at the end of the season. That's the national champions and the WNIT championships. Everyone else loses. That you lose unless you win, so unless you win at all. So it was just amazing, tremendous momentum for the city, tremendous momentum for women's basketball, and we have a Pac-12 record now, and that says a lot from where we're at.
Absolutely, and credit where credit should also be due is your coaching staff.
Oh, thanks.
And what they brought to this team. What kind of a staff do you have?
Well, I have a great staff, and with success, changes happen.
Right.
So, right into my right-hand person, she was a 16-year assistant coach. She, when you have success, people want to take your coaches, so that's the good and bad of winning. She became the head coach at Hartford, so that was just announced yesterday. So really happy for her. It's a great situation for her, close to home because she's from Vermont. And then, we have another assistant coach that will be going to another Pac-12 school. So April Phillips is from California. So Cal came and recruited her. So now I got to recruit someone else, probably from another Pac-12 team. But I'm in the process of doing the search. And the great thing is that people want to be here. We are on the up, we are moving up, getting better. We should be a tournament team. And this is an exciting place. So when you see how the crowd was and how the city is, you want to be a part of it. So I'll have a really good coaching staff.
Now, your husband's part of this staff. I hope he's sticking around.
Yeah, he can't go anywhere. He has no choice.
But how do you guys make that work? How does that?
It's easy because we're really different. He's a lot more laid back. I'm a lot more. We're just a really good balance, and he's a great basketball mind, and we try to really separate work from home. So at work, we don't look married. And then, at home, we just try not to only talk basketball. We try to focus on our son. And it's not like our offices are in the same place. His is kind of around the corner. So it just works. I think it wouldn't work if he wasn't the type of person he is. He doesn't have an ego, and he just wants to coach basketball. And so we work because we have different strengths and weaknesses. And, he'll never go anywhere because he can't. So, he's in it for the long run. But I think there's some value to having someone that's just as invested as you. I think this is a very tough business. And it's very hard to find good, loyal people. And when you have someone by your side that wants it as bad as you, that's going to work just as hard as you or harder, I think it's really important. And he's definitely the backbone, and he helps me. And he's the one that nudged me and said, "Go take that job. That's a job you need." And when I wasn't sure, when I had an 8-month-old baby, so he's definitely been a big part of our success.
Okay, tremendous year, WNIT champions, but of course the goal: get to the NCAA tournament. Looking ahead.
Well, that's our goal for sure. We have momentum, and I think if you look at the programs across the Pac-12 and country, after they win the NIT, they have success in the tournament. I've heard that from a lot of Pac-12 coaches, and I've seen that. So our goal is to get better. We're not where we need to be. We're by no means are we satisfied, and we're going to get better. We're inserting 5 people for next year, and it's the tournament. And our players are hungry. Once they've had this success, nothing else would be good enough.
Yeah. And now you got a taste of it. And, of course, you've got all these new fans.
Yeah, we do. That's
they're all
great.
going to be out next year supporting.
Yeah, we have 85% new fans, already doubled what our season ticket was last year. And our goal is to get 2,500 reserves so we can have 5,000 per game on average.
All right, Coach, congratulations on the win. And we'll be watching.
Thank you.
It's great. Thank you for coming by.